Hello everyone, my name's Rahana. I'm one of the dental hygienists at the Advanced Dental Practice. I'm just going to have a quick chat about our electric toothbrushes. Obviously there are a lot of electric toothbrushes out in the market. If I was to recommend one, my personal favourite would be an Oral-B. So with an Oral-B, when you first buy an Oral-B brush, you pop the brush onto a charger and you charge it for the first 24 hours. Once the brush is charged, you only need to charge your brush as and when it needs to be charged. The heads pop off very easily, so you just pop the heads off and make sure you're replacing them between 1 to 3 months. Good thing about the Oral-B, it's got a small circular head. For those really hard to reach places, an Oral-B is much more easier to use. I'm just going to give you a demonstration on my little model. So the good thing about the electric toothbrush, it actually does all of the work for you. So the key thing with using this brush is all about positioning. So having a look at my little model, so we're going to, just for demonstration purposes, this is a bottom model. So if you're right-handed, I always recommend that you start from the bottom left-hand side. So with our electric toothbrush, we're going to position this brush down towards that tooth and that gum margin. So the best way to describe it is the bristles of your brush should be half on the tooth and half on the brush. Sorry, half on the tooth and half on the gum. So if I'm just going to switch this brush on and show you how to use. So if we have a look, this brush is half on the tooth and half on the gum. So literally, I'm just going to hold this brush on this tooth for about 2 to 3 seconds. Then I'm going to move on to the next. I'm going to hold it on for about 2 to 3 seconds and then move on to the next. So as you can see, with a traditional manual brush, usually you'd have to move the brush back and forth. With an electric toothbrush, there's no back and forth movement. You're allowing the toothbrush to do all of the work for you. So I'm just guiding the brush along and brushing each tooth one at a time and holding it onto each tooth for a couple of seconds and then working my way along all the way until I get to the very last tooth. When it comes to the inside surfaces of the teeth, it's exactly the same concept. So making sure the bristles of the brush are half on the tooth and half on the gum. So if I switch my brush on, I'm going to gently just guide my brush along, allowing the electric toothbrush to do all of the work for me. So I'm holding it on each tooth one at a time for about 2 to 3 seconds, then moving on to the next. So working my way around until I get to the very last tooth. When it comes to brushing the tops of the teeth, it's exactly the same principle. The only difference is that this time around we're going to be pointing the bristles of that brush up towards that tooth and that gum margin. So remember, the bristles are half on the tooth and half on the gum. So again, we're working our way along, making sure we're brushing each tooth one at a time. So as we work our way along, we do exactly the same, making sure we're pointing the bristles up towards that tooth and the gum until we get to the very last tooth. Don't forget as well to brush the tops of your teeth, top and bottom. And don't forget as well, very important, to switch the brush off, stick your tongue out and give your tongue a very good brush.